Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you. Week 15 is not yet in the books. There are 2 more games left to play, none of which will impact the AFC playoff picture. But here to dice it all up with us, making his weekly appearance, is one Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football, whose Christmas shopping is done. And you are in the wheelhouse of Christmas enjoyment because of your kids' ages, man. I am way past that window. So, dude, soak it up, be a sponge, because it's fleeting. It really is.
I'm aware of that, and I'm trying to have perspective on that, Brownie. It is truly a magical week. I have an 8-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. And listen, there's elf sightings around the house. Last year there were reindeer prints in the snow.
Wow.
We only don't even know what's going to come to the Brandt house this weekend because they're both on the nice list for sure. So it's a super exciting week. I do have one bone to pick. I will say this right now. I'm very angry with the community right now I live in because apparently there was an intelligence breach in the second grade circuit about some things that some people don't believe in and that may not be real, even though we all know that they are. And my kid came home saying, well, so-and-so said this because his older sister said this. And I'm like, listen, keep that at home. If you have kids who have all these conspiracy theories about things that aren't real, which they are real, keep that in your house. Do not bring that to school. Do not bring that to my house. And now I got to re-explain why it is real. So I'm a little angry about it right now because one of these kids was running their mouth.
Yeah, we always say, and we've said it here actually this week with some of the guys in the control room, nothing good happens on the school bus for things like that, and God knows what else. But nothing good happens on the bus. That's where conspiracy theories breed and thrive.
That's right. So in keeping with,
I mean, look. I remember a couple of times in the 7th grade in the backseat of the bus. It wasn't all terrible, but in terms of intelligence, absolutely right. You're right in that sense.
I got you. So what are some of the Brandt household traditions that you cherish the most that maybe will transcend the generational intelligence?
I love the question. First of all, I want to put my cards on the table right now. Because I remember we spoke about a month ago and I was telling you, which is that the turkey is absolute garbage and I'm a ham guy. So I want to go also. And I know, Brownie, that there's a lot of sensitive opinions about that. Well, I'm going to double down. Every single Christmas Eve without fail, I will sit down. I will put on Chevy Chase and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I will quote every line and I will have myself a tall, ice cold glass of eggnog with nutmeg on top, and I will down that thing like I was born to do it. I'm a nog guy, and the Nog Nation out there, I hear you. I know that we have a lot of people who don't agree with us, but I'm in.
Okay. No, I'm a big nog guy as well. In fact,
That's right, Steve.
Here's the thing for me. I'm an older guy, so I'm at a place in my life that's a little different than you. I'm half eggnog, half Baileys.
Oh, that's good.
And I just do not care. And I am the more it gets, the more it's like 25% eggnog and 75% Bailey.
Yeah.
Oops, so we're all out of nog. Oh,
I do not care. I do not care. Especially at Christmas when nobody's going anywhere, right? I mean, you're there for 3 days or something and you're in that. That's it, man. I am all in on that.
Yeah. We did have a spirited discussion the other day, Kyle, about Christmas specials. Steve has not been a viewer of Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, which kind of surprised me, especially since he's got grandkids. You should have seen Bills fans coming out of the woodwork saying, Steve, how could you have not viewed this program in any way, shape, or form?
Are you, Kyle? Do you know what Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is?
Do I know it? I practically sing the songs in the shower in the morning. There's a heavy metal band in that thing, and they rock hard. And it's like they really set this beautiful scene in sort of on the swamp. And Emmett and his jug band, they hit hard. And when that, how does it go? Aren't they, Brownie, like, we don't brush our teeth and all that? Like they're bad.
They're bad boys.
Lyrics, but,
the River Bottom Boys.
God,
yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. So you've already outed your Chevy Chase Christmas Carol. My super all-time favorite is the Muppet Christmas Carol. Is my all-time favorite. It's one of my top 5 movies ever of any genre.
All genres outside of Christmas, even for him.
But I get it. So what what about your kids?
That transcends Christmas? Like,
that's what he told me yesterday.
Goodfellas and Christmas special. Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
It's high on Steve's
So
list.
what's the hot topic for your two at home?
Well, listen, I've started to take over the great American tradition of weaponizing Santa Claus as a behavioral enforcer. So I do a lot of that. Like
Right.
normally, I would say 11 and a half months out of the year, it's just a lot of yelling, and I'm going to count to 3. And I will just do it right now. If my son Calvin, who's 8 now, if I say, pick up your toys, he goes, I don't want to pick up my toys. I just say, I'll call him. I got his number right here. I will call him. No, I'll pick up my toys. I'm sorry. So we're constantly saying that Santa Claus is not going to come, and that we will have you put on the naughty list if you do not do A, B, and C. Sometimes A, B, and C, including, pick up my clothes and get me a beer, but that's just part of the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, well, no, every parent's got to take advantage of that while they can.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. You look at this AFC playoff race, Kyle, and there are going to be some teams with lumps of coal in their stocking in a week or so. And, the Raiders maybe staved off elimination, but you watch that team play a COVID-riddled roster of the Cleveland Browns. What they had not have, like 10 starters, and you barely beat them on a last-second field goal? How do you feel good about the Raiders, even though they won last night? I don't see how you can.
You don't feel good about the Raiders. As always, we're most intrigued by the quote unquote in the hunt column that is always on the far right of your graphic and our graphic. And we're sort of compelled to talk about those teams, but no, you don't feel good about the Raiders. I mean, they're kind of a feel good story in the sense that they're still alive by what they've been through, but you don't feel good about them doing anything. I mean, I think every Raiders conversation right now is kind of whitewashed in this, do they blow it up in the offseason inevitable thing? I remember when they beat the Ravens to start the season, really impressive win, really good. And Derek Carr had this great quote, and I'm paraphrasing loosely, but he basically said, that's kind of how I've been the story of my career. It's like, yes, oh crap. And that was his words. And I thought it was really honest. But yes, last night was just a yes. And then I think we know what is coming next week. There are many good teams in the AFC, but even in this year's goulash of no one wants to decide to be great, it's still hard to get excited about the Raiders, even after that win.
I do think, though, this race in the AFC is really good goulash, man. 13 teams with 7 wins.
Lapping it up.
And the AFC North all plays this incestuous schedule down the stretch where they all play each other. Every game's going to be massive. And then you've got the teams in the East where Miami has fought its way back into the conversation. Now it needs some help, obviously. But the massive game this week between Buffalo and New England, and then out west where Kansas City was gone, and now is the number 1 seed. I just think it's an awesome race coming down the stretch in the AFC conference, and we're asking our viewers today that pretenders and contenders. The contenders I think are obvious. Is there anybody at the top that you think is not going to be there?
I don't think so.
You're talking about New England, Tennessee,
Kansas City
Cincinnati.
Yeah, look, Tennessee is brutal. That loss was bad, and I hesitate to even bring it up because I know Brown is a huge Tannehill fan, but
that's right.
He had a tough fourth quarter, and I feel like it's my God. That team's supposed to be on the varsity, Steve. Like Tennessee's been there. They've battled. They've knocked Brady out of New England. They've beaten the Lamar MVP season. I didn't figure them for a team that would turtle in December and have, I think it was 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter. I think they might have showed their hand there. And listen, their whole team is built around Derrick Henry. So I don't relish saying it, but they might have done something that just completely got them out of this. But I have to say the most shocking thing that's transpired in the AFC in a long time came yesterday. I think it was yesterday when Belichick started his media conference, media session, apologizing. This was crazy. So he starts out, Belichick, who's been a curmudgeon for, 40 years, apologizing to the local media in the room because he felt his answers were too curt following the Indianapolis loss, and even went on to say it has nothing to do with you. I was shocked by that.
Well,
I think it's. What do you say, Brian? What do you got?
I was going to say my suspicion is he watched him up at Christmas Carol and realized he was screwed.
Oh my God, that's great! Remember when Cindy Lou Who gives the Grinch the present and his heart grows by 3
Don't
sizes?
get me started on the Grinch
bracket. That was it, and I think it has something to do with Indianapolis. I think that the Colts had Belichick so flummoxed and so pissed off and so confused, in which they completely dominated Carson Wentz and that they still lost on national television. I think Belichick was out of his sorts after that loss. And certainly people in Western New York know what it's like to go up against this Colts team. So it's one of the most unique teams because we have the best running back in the world, and we have a team that really has it going and a coach that we believe in. And I still think a quarterback that no one believes in, yet we're still here being like, maybe they could knock everybody off.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. There's always a segment of Bills fans that whenever they hear Bill Belichick speak, they envision a deep, dark conspiracy about the game that's going to come up. Like he is posturing for a Buffalo Bill game this week. It has nothing to do with Indianapolis. It has nothing to do with it has to do with what the Bills see him, and he will, that he thinks.
What's the posturing though? If he's apologizing, that's what I don't get.
I think he's hoping that the Bills. I think Bills fans are thinking they're vulnerable. He wants Bills fans.
He wants
to
people to think they're vulnerable.
Are vulnerable,
to show weakness,
and that they're just not all there.
Wow.
And just to lull them into a sense of security. This is a team that the Bills are they swept them last year. They lost by 4 points in a 40-mile-an-hour win a couple of weeks ago. Bills fans always think he's posturing to subvert the
ulterior
Bills'
motives.
Yeah,
right.
So and let's face it, this is the guy that did the whole press conference and said we're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And he didn't apologize for that.
Yeah, what was
so you think
bad
there's a
about
motive
after the
to
Colts
this
game? If I'm a part of the Patriots press corps, I'm like, Bill, that was like a 3 on a 1 to 10. Are you kidding? What are you even talking about? I don't know. Does he even need to posture when he's about to play a team that he beat by throwing 3 passes? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Shouldn't he keep that in his back pocket or something?
Maybe. I don't know. But that's what Bills. I think there's a session of
I'm
Bills
fascinated
fans
by
that still will always look at him with suspicion until they see him with a stake through his heart. They will.
I know, and we thought that was last year, but then he removed the stake from his heart and threw the thing into the river. Brownie, do we know any like really early forecasts for Foxborough this weekend?
Weather's not supposed to be terrible. It's certainly not going to be anything like it was here a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I don't believe there's precip in the forecast either. Now, if you've ever been to that stadium, there is always a little bit of a breeze that comes through the open end, but it's not going to be anything like what we saw here where we were just waiting for the locusts to show up. So, I think they'll be okay to exact a game plan that they initially intended to go with in the first place, but we shall see.
Off the schedule for a minute, and I just want to ask you this. Last Thursday, we had a football game. We also had a couple games on Saturday. We had a bunch on Sunday. Had 2 games last night. Got 2 games tonight. And in 2 days, got another one. Can I sign up for that again?
Yes.
Because that was
you have to understand, Steve's got a giant man cave.
I want to know why. And listen, I worked very hard to craft my life the way I want it. And here's the thing. I want to know, why are they putting these 2 games tonight like they're at the same time? They're 2 games, both at 7 o'clock. Why can't we have it like last night? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know why we don't always every single week have a Monday doubleheader, like every single week for good. Like why not? It's awesome. We have it, they'll do it on Christmas and they'll do it on the Thursday night kickoff and then some other times, but you have like a 6 p.m. game and then a 9 p.m. game. It's glorious. It's a double feature. Like you used to go to the drive-in and see 2 movies. Listen, I'm not in part of that camp that says, screw it, let's have NFL every single night, which we kind of have this week. But I gotta say, Steve, that Monday double feature was tasty.
It really was. I was rubbing. I was like the old time rubbing it on my face. I loved it. I just absolutely loved it.
Well, that was the Baileys, I think.
Yeah. It was the eggnog. No, the Baileys I drank. The eggnog I rubbed on my face.
The official forecast for Sunday is a high of 40, AM snow showers, winds about 9 miles per hour. So it looks like Josh and company will be able to do, presumably, what they want to do game plan wise. And, the big talk here is people are kind of holding their breath, Kyle, because after seeing what happened to the Rams, the Washington football team, the Chicago Bears to a certain extent, and the Browns, every other team in the league is like, Are we going to be able to avoid that, or are we going to have the same trickle-down rosters, subtractions that they experienced at the exact wrong time? The Bills only have 4 players on the COVID reserve list right now. They probably stand a good chance of getting half of them back before the next game. But this is a fear that all these teams have now, like the wrong time. We need a game. I mean, you're in this AFC race, and you lose that many. I mean, the Browns season may have gone up in flames because of that.
I know. Well, the Browns, I'm trying to have this right. Brian, you probably help me out with this. If the Raiders miss that field goal, the Browns are in first place in the division. I think they're the 4 in the playoffs.
Yes.
And since the Raiders made it, they're the 12.
Yes.
And that was without their star quarterback and their head coach and their star receiver. It's terrifying. I mean, like in the power rankings world, number 1 right now in the power rankings, it is not the Chiefs or the Packers, it's COVID. So I think the Bills fans should be satisfied, or not satisfied, but terrified, not satisfied at all. So it's like we all follow these Ian Rappaports and these Schefters and everything, and we wait to see if our fantasy player is going to be ready. Now it's like, oh my God, no, did Rappaport tweet again? And there's like 12 names below it. And then, frankly, never mind football for a second. We all kind of are feeling that in our home lives too, because I don't know about you guys, but I was having a whole bunch of people come in from Chicago who were going to see their grandkids, their nieces and nephews. That's canceled now because, we have had people tested positive and all that. So it's life imitating football. I'm worried about what tight ends and running backs are going to play. I'm also worried about which cousins and aunts and uncles are going to show up.
Right, and that's the boat we're all living in. I mean, at least hopefully it stays afloat at some point.
I know.
Did you see also one of the things that warmed the hearts of Bills fans everywhere was Tom Brady getting shut out and heaving the surface in frustration, which has become really the new benchmark. Last year, Bill Belichick slamming the phone down on the Monday night win, Buffalo 38-9 over the Patriots. Let me just relive that for a minute. And now this year, Tom Brady slamming the surface. I mean, they're getting.
He shattered that thing.
Right, that was a good throw.
I mean, he got all his money's worth on that one.
Oh yeah. They're not. They're not scratching the surface. They're shattering it. Look at that. That is a left-handed pass. I'm surprised when he threw it that none of the Saints intercepted it. But normally they would have. There's a whole run now of people smashing their surfaces. Rodgers has smashed it. Belichick has thrown a surface in addition to the phone. And I have to say on Good Morning Football, I used the surface for 3 hours and have for over 1,300 episodes. It hasn't failed me once. It's a hell of a device, which I like. But there's Brady smashing the thing. Pretty petulant move by a guy who just got shut out. Brady got outscored by the Bears this week by 9 points, and the Bears are awful. It's a tough look.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because he threw it after it was already broken. So I think he smashed it on the ground, picked it up, and you see it's already broken when he throws it. So it was like the double whammy. It just warms my heart.
I know.
These guys that are so good can still be frustrated in a game that they've played for so long. Rodgers, Belichick, Brady, all of them. Some guys you never see do that. And I don't know, I just think it adds a little something to the game that
it does
to be
week to week too, Steve. You think, okay, well, the Bucs are the Bucs, and Brady was pretty magnificent, and certainly in overtime against the Bills. And then the very next week, he can't even score a single point. The Saints lost 5 games in a row at one point, 5 games in a row, and now they shut out Brady for the first time since I think 2006 or something like that.
Yeah, they do it playing rugby.
It's a crazy thing.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, This may be a really special year. We've talked about the AFC, and there's 12 or 13 teams in the mix, and they are in the mix. I don't. They say back in 2002 or whatever. I don't remember any year where there was 27 teams with a shot at the playoffs in week 15 or week 16.
And it's not like there's 10 teams that are mathematically still alive.
No,
I mean, you just outlined it with what happened with Cleveland. I mean, 4 to 12. I mean, that was the range and where they could have ended up based on the outcome of yesterday's game.
I know. It's crazy. And, I had an idea that occurred to me on the Christmas list this week. There's always this big to-do when Brady throws touchdown 600 or 700 and someone runs and gets the ball. And if a fan gets it, they have to pay him in jerseys and stuff. Is any way we could get that broken surface to give to Steve Tasker for Christmas? Because I think he loves that thing. We need someone to get their hands on it. Someone out there.
Well, you get that Tampa Bay ball boy.
In the man cave.
Get that Tampa Bay ball boy. He's on it like white on rice,
give him
man.
Give him a Bitcoin. Yeah,
We could do that.
Yes, give him
I've got a
Bitcoin.
spot for that.
All right, last thing for you, Kyle. And again, we go back to the Christmas movie genre because we know you're a big movie buff. So Steve and I were talking about The Grinch. I'm not a fan. The guy's an outright criminal. You know, breaking and entering, grand larceny, you know, run down the list. And granted, you know, the guy is a loner and everything. Well, don't live on a mountaintop away from everybody. The guy's got the most fiercely loyal dog going.
Yes.
Steve would argue, and he was arguing this point yesterday, number one cartoon dog ever. Like, even outside of Christmas movies. I mean, pound for pound, he's got to be the strongest dog going. I mean, you see the size of that sleigh he's pulling up a mountain.
Dog Max is maybe the greatest dog ever. Snoopy is good. Scooby-Doo's okay.
He's kind of a scaredy cat, though.
But I'm telling you, Max of the Grinch may be the number one cartoon dog of all time.
It's a great take because, first of all, let's think about this. The Max has to live in solitude. There's no other pets. I'm not sure the Grinch is even regularly feeding him, let alone loving him. And then in addition to making him pull the sleigh, he straps that horn to his head, ties it really tight. He's going to weigh him down here. And then he just absolutely verbally berates the dog. I'm in on Team Max, and I'm trying to think of even some dog. You know, Scooby-Doo is just hopped up on goofballs. We don't know what he's about. Snoopy was always boring. I'm not a Peanuts fan. I found them a bunch of self-loathing children. I don't like that thing. And Max is all spirit, despite living with the worst people in the world. It should be Max who goes down to Whoville and sings La Whodore.
Yeah, he's number one. He is number one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No
Let's
question.
Go to the phones. Name a better animated dog than Max and How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
The phones are lighting up right
Ted.
now. Yeah.
Last one for me. This one, another reason why this year is so special. It's been so great. And as we're nearing Christmas time, let's remember all this stuff. How about the Detroit Lions? Giving the big smackdown
on Bizarro
to the
Week.
Arizona Cardinals. That to me is what it's all about, man. It's so trite, but it is so true. It's proven. Any given Sunday, Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions with Jared Goff can beat up the number one seed or the number 1-2 seed in the NFC. I just thought that was great.
It was awesome. And you know what, Steve? It wasn't like, well, they got 3 or 4 bounces and they won on a last-second field goal. The Cardinals were never in that game. They never were close. They got dominated from start to finish. And it was this thing of like, oh, these posers in the NFC with these young, flashy players and this cool, flashy coach. Lions didn't give a damn. And I think in this era of Urban Meyer, where not one single player is coming out in support of all the stuff going on there, you see the scene afterwards for a 2-10-1 or 2-11-1, whatever the hell their record is. The Lions fans love Campbell, and they're hugging him, and they're tears of joy. That is not the last game the Lions will win this year. And they say, oh, they gave up the number 1 pick. Who cares? This is an awesome thing. Can you win Coach of the Year if you're a 2-win team? I almost feel like the Lions, Dan Campbell should be comeback Coach of the Year too. All the awards. Are you sure, Brownie, that the Lions can't somehow make the playoffs? Are they somehow eligible? Because I want them in.
Yeah, they're one of the few teams that sadly are not. But
it's an awesome story.
They play hard for him, man. They play hard for him.
I know.
You got to give him credit for keeping that band together, and that's a good win for them. And I'm wondering about Arizona. Are they a little softer than maybe we anticipated?
They've never been there. And listen, the DeAndre Hopkins injury is huge, you know, because they got this reputation. I'm even saying it myself. Well, they're so young, and I'm watching the game, and Kyler's throwing passes to Zach Ertz and AJ Green. That's the 2 guys every pass goes to. Those guys are a lot of things, a lot of positive things. They're not young, and it's just that's all of a sudden this team has changed. And I don't think they have any. There's no J.J. Watt. There's no Larry Fitzgerald. The coach hasn't been there. The quarterback hasn't been there. I don't know if there's a player in the NFL right now who has worse body language than Kyler Murray. It's just all these head shakes and this. Oh my God! Listen, they stink like quick out right now, and I hope I'm wrong because I like what Keim and Bidwell build there. They stink like quick out.
Well, and they got Indy this week, so have fun with that.
Lots of stuff. Yeah, ton of stuff, other stuff we want to talk about. Don't have much time for Christian Wilkins, the Miami guy who did the great celebration. Also, the Giants who were giving out free sodas to a few of their season ticket holders. We got to do this, though. We didn't do it last week. Give us a prediction. It's the most massive game on the schedule so far for the Buffalo Bills. Bills at Patriots, 1 p.m. on Sunday. Who's winning?
Well, it's going to be a real game. Last time I take nothing away from the Patriots. They were better and they won. it was a farcical set of conditions that they played that game in. Patriots came into Buffalo and won. Buffalo's going to New England and win. They're going to win 24-20, and this thing's going to be on fire. Let's go.
All right,
man.
Kyle, enjoy Christmas with your family.
Merry
We'll
Christmas,
catch up
my
with you
friend.
next week.
Guys, I hope everyone has so much happiness this week. As much happiness as I get from Steve trying to get us to believe that the ratio of eggnog to Bailey's was actually 50-50, which is pure BS, and that's why we love you, Steve.
It was an eggnog floater to be real.
a chaser of eggnog. You're the best.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Take care, Kyle. Enjoy
You
your
guys,
eggnog.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, that's Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football joining us and calling for a Bills win, 24-20.